Welcome to the Performance Health Podcast. My name is Tim Caron. Today we got Coach John Sicora from Spear Training Center located outside of Chicago. Coach John has had a ton of great experience, specifically with basketball, but also being a facility owner. So I wanted to talk to him about, one, growing a facility, but two, growing the staff within it. John and I have had a lot of conversations about not only just hiring good people, but developing them, keeping them around, seeing how they could progress in their own profession. It's an amazing conversation. Hope you guys enjoy. If you guys like what you're hearing, please subscribe, share, as well as head over to strength&tc.com. Check out everything from our collective membership, which is the most premium membership in all of strength conditioning, our foundations course, how to navigate and orient your career in strength conditioning, our strength deficit course and book. Ton of great resources over at strength&tc.com. You will not regret going there. Unlock your potential as a strength coach with the foundations course. Are you ready to take your coaching to the next level? The Foundations course isn't just another checklist or to-do list. It's a transformative journey that focuses on key models and skills that make great strength coaches. It will help you develop into the best version of yourself. In this course, you'll dive deep into essential concepts such as what do you want? Why do you want that? How are you going to get that? We're going to develop the motivation to develop the skills that are prerequisite to getting what you want. We're going to maintain motivation through practice. We're going to master communication. We're going to work on application through developing a coaching business and a 1 to 5 and a 10-year plan. This course is designed to be specific to your needs. You'll learn at your own pace, diving into what matters to you. Each lesson is paired with an interactive workbook and a corresponding module. You'll get a copy of the Foundations workbook and a copy of How to Become a Strength Coach to make a deeper understanding of the lessons we're going through. Why choose the Foundations course? Develop a personalized coaching strategy that's tailored to you, your wants, and your needs. Build the skills and knowledge needed to become the strength coach you know you can be. Map out a clear 1, 5, and 10-year plan to stay on track for long-term success. Receive hands-on resources to help integrate learning into your coaching practice. The best coaches aren't born. They're made through consistent learning and development. This is your opportunity to become the coach that you know you always could be. Start your journey today by purchasing the Foundations course. All right, we got Coach John Sicora. Thank you so much. John, take a second to introduce yourself, and then I'll start rattling off some questions.
I'm John Sicora, co-founder of Spear Training Center. Where do you want to start?
Okay, give me you're getting into strength and conditioning, you're working with Charles, and then the next step is working at Lifetime. Is that like the correct sequence?
Yeah, in 2007, I interned with Charles Poliquin at the Poliquin Performance Center with Mike Beistel. At the time, I actually wanted to be a chiropractor, but interning with Charles and Mike, I'm like, this seems a little bit more fun and interesting. So I decided to become a strength conditioning coach. But at the time, Lifetime was paying pretty well. So I decided to go work at Lifetime, but continuing my education through the PICP program at the time. Had a good business at Lifetime. At the time, you had to charge $80 to $100 a session. I was working Monday through Friday, getting about 10K a month, 10, 12K a month. And I got some athletes, a good book of business and Gen Pop clientele. And then it got to the point where Lifetime wanted us to do things a certain way. A lot of micromanaging that I didn't necessarily agree with. And a lot of my athletes were getting bugged by some of the members at the time. So we just needed a private setting. So eventually I got together with my buddy, Jeff McCoy, and we opened Spear, and things been going good ever since.
That's a really great question I have. And I think this is something that we all kind of face when we're training. You're making good money, man. Like 10K a month is, and especially at the time, which is
the revenue through Lifetime was 10K a month. So you're probably making about half that, but yeah.
Okay. Still, okay. Nothing like small change though.
No.
And there's like an element in that, in my opinion, that, you know, a lot of trainers who I don't want to like typecast them, the working to live kind of category. Like I like to work my ass off for 40 hours a week of training, and then I want to go out on the weekend, or I like to travel. Did that process, when your roster's full, you're making good money, put aside the philosophical differences or I guess the frustrations, did you ever have a crossing moment of, I'm making good money, why do I want to flip this on its head and open up my own facility?
Yes and no. It's always been an underlying dream to go that way after seeing what Mike did and Charles have done at the Poliquin Performance Center. And I'm stubborn. I always like to do things my own way sometimes. And so I think it's more just, that was the big thing, is just constantly being told, and the micromanaging. The problem with Lifetime too was they dangle the carrot. Okay, do this and now do more, do this and now do more. It's never like, hey, let's go. Let's just celebrate and hang out and be content with this for a little bit.
Yeah.
And there was never that too. So it's like, what's the next best thing, which is, it can be good, but at the same time, it can eat away at the culture too.
Yeah, which is, for the record, way smarter and strategic than I did. I had 0 clients when I opened up the lead in 2017. Walk me through that transition. You go to Spear, you have your Rolodex of clients you've been working with.
Yeah.
Were you able to pull some over with you? And how did that process go into transition when you opened up the door?
When Jeff and I came from Lifetime, all our clients followed us. I think Jeff had one client that didn't follow, but everyone else followed us. So we had a good book of business. We did not take out a large loan. We didn't take out a loan at all. We saved up our life savings and bought some equipment, had a good lease deal. And we were slowly able to, you've seen the facility. We started with that one side room.
Mm-hmm.
We were renting space there. And then when the people that actually were renting the building moved out, we took over the whole building. So we made sure we were growing at a steady pace. We tried to do things a smart way financially. And now we're able to actually try to buy the building, which I was just telling you before we started recording the podcast.
Which, so if you ever listen to NPR, How I Built This, the last question is always luck or hard work.
A little bit of both.
Yeah, no doubt. That's always the consensus. But my joke early on when I opened up my business, fuck that. Like, it's all hard work, man. I'm not putting my fate to the gods here or whatever that is.
When preparation meets opportunity, that's
No doubt.
meals luck. Yeah, exactly.
Now, with that being said, though, like, you're in a facility. Did you have in the back of your mind, if we grow this out, space that's being occupied by someone else left was like, hey, we're gonna expand into that? Or was that just
No, it was a shit show. It happened before we were ready, but it was no other option, or the other options weren't as good. So we made it work, and it worked out for the best. So
now, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm assuming when you went from that one little area to
the small area was about 4,000 square feet.
So you triple in size?
Yeah, up to 12,000 square feet.
And
Not just the upstairs. Yeah.
That's triple in operating budget.
Yep.
Triple everything. What was the process of, was it a catch-up period, or were you already thinking, hey, we're going to hire more trainers, we're trying to get more clients? How was that process of expansion?
We tried to bring a few people on, but we were overperforming for our small budget. Everything was okay. So we had a really good lease negotiation. When we were negotiating the lease, we went through with the building owners at the time. We sat down with them, explained our situation. Hey, we're not ready for this huge jump. And they gave us a sweetheart of a deal where it was a slow progression, and we were able to make it work that way. So good negotiating, just being a good person, being honest and upfront, not trying to screw anybody over in the process, I think goes a long way, and trying not to burn bridges helped us out along the way too.
Yeah. Now, as you expand and you start to increase your number of coaches, the direct influence you have on your clients now becomes, I don't want to say diluted, but shared. And how did you manage that process of now other people are representing Spear and John Sicora's brand?
Some mistakes, but it's a learning curve. There's, you've got to find systems in place. You want to try to bring people on that have your core values and value the same things you do. Charles always used to say, you're a product of the 5 people you're around the most, right? That was a big thing. So trying to bring on like-minded people, which can be hard, especially with work ethic, especially some of the younger generation. I feel like it's a little bit more entitlement, but maybe it's a good thing. Maybe I'm just jealous. I didn't have that entitlement. When I was that age, I had to get put through the trenches a little bit more. I don't know.
Yeah, I envy that, just optimism that the world is like at your oyster and you could just basically do what you want whenever you want. It's just, wow, what a beautiful way to live.
Walk in, say what you want to get paid, who you want to train. Done. No, it's great.
Now, so you've expanded to triple the size. Did that go home with a corresponding triple the size of just you and Jeff? But does that expand to obviously more than triple the size of your staff? So you go from 2 to 12, 15 people working at Spear now?
Yeah, we got about 12 now. We have our core guys that have been with us for a long time. They do a really good job here. They make some good money. Then we have some coaches that have been a little bit of a revolving door, bringing a new coach, try to make it. Some of them are sticking around. So it's a little bit of both. We're trying to get these guys to come in, teach them to be better coaches, make it a fun place to work out, have a good culture, push them without pushing too hard. You got to read each individual. Some people, I think maybe we pushed a little too hard and we either asked a little too much from them, so we pushed them out of the industry. Other coaches have gone to other places and thrived. One of our coaches is now the head strength coach for the Chicago Cubs. He worked here for 2 years. One of our other coaches is working for Ben Prentice now in Connecticut, doing a really good job out there. So it's creating good coaches that can go to other places and succeed too.
Yeah, pressure is privilege, man. And the people that can handle it, they're going to be great. And people that can't, they were going to be what they're going to be anyway. Now, there's a lot that goes with, now you have 12 coaches and I'm sure they have probably 10 to 30 hours of clients a week. That's a lot of management. That's a lot of HR. That's a lot of just payroll. It's a lot of booking and payment processing, all that stuff. Are you still handling all that internally?
Yeah, Jeff and I. So what was the book? The E-Myth? You read that book?
Yeah.
So the entrepreneur, the technician, and the manager. So we went through that and we broke up some of everything a little bit, where Jeff does more of the internal management roles. We all share all the responsibilities, but takes point on it. And I thank God for him, because he does a good job with it. And he's made my life a lot easier, and I probably couldn't have done it on my own.
Yeah. And pick your partners wisely. That.
Yes, I can second that. We had a third partner before, but we'll leave that out.
Yeah. And for that being said, it's also good if someone's not really connecting with the role that they're evolving into, they got to have awareness that I don't really want to do this. Unfortunately, the dynamic here, and like a lot of part of it is the brand that you personally created is a driving force. Why a lot of people get eyes on Spear and we got to go where the iron's hottest, and we got to push in that direction. It's rising tides raise all boats. So more eyes are going to get on us. We're going to attract higher caliber clients, and the cluster effect from that. And someone's got to go, how are we going to manage this hundreds of hours of PT we got booked every single week, and making sure everyone gets paid on time, and making sure we're handling cancellations or reschedules, or hey, a piece of equipment breaks down, we got to get that fixed, or a cleaning crew. There's an endless list of stuff to do.
You wear a lot of hats.
Yeah. And as an entrepreneur, you should just accept there's no job too small. There's no doubt about it. But with that being said, I think that's the part that as you start to evolve into a business owner, it's, oh, wow, I got to do a bunch of things that I don't love doing. And how much is that as a detraction from what you really love doing? And that becomes a struggle. And there's just some people that someone's got to do it, I'm going to do it. Or I really enjoy monotonous, tedious work. People are wired that way, and they're okay with that. And they're meticulous and they're thorough, and they just bust their ass in that direction because they know it's helping the greater good. And whether they have equity or they have intrinsic value from helping people do what they love, there's always value in that.
Yeah, that's one thing we're trying to do with some of our coaches is this is a representation of them too. So we're trying to have them just, if the garbage is full, just take it out because it's the right thing to do. Don't just walk past it if something's on the ground. You don't have this problem, but we have salt that we have to salt the walks, and salt gets tracked in because clients don't take their shoes off. They track into the gym. So I was mopping today, trying to make sure all our coaches do a better job of, hey, take your shoes off at the front door, put on clean, dry shoes when you come into the gym, things like that. You know what I mean? So I was mopping right before I got on the call with you. That's, yeah, like you said, no job too small.
I used to call it Small Business Chronicles when I'm doing all these like small tasks. I'm like, look how glamorous this is.
Exactly.
But like, great story on that. Our key person just leave, a phenomenal coach, got a really good job. I'm super happy for him. Promote another guy, and obviously the fires are going on, and he called me. He's, hey, there's a lot of, because we have outdoor turf. He's like, there's just a lot of soot on the actual turf. How do I clean it? And I was like, go to Home Depot, get a carpet cleaner, and there's a solution in there, and go do it. Just send me the invoice on what it costs to get the carpet cleaner. Done and done. And it was like that moment of that feeling of anxiety that you lose a key person that was invaluable.
Yeah.
So happy for him to make more money, live in the part of the country he wants to live. But the other part is next person steps up and has that intrinsic motivation to do the right thing when it needs to be done. And I think that is the symbolic nature of that, has a concentric circle off it for others to follow along. But the other end, which is pretty valuable, is just having that awareness that it needs to get done. And if you don't do it, no one will. That part is, they just old. I've seen old people be very lazy and complacent. I've seen young people be naive and ignorant to what's around them. Some things are just values they kept from home and who they are as people. But the other part of it is, it becomes frustrating when you're the only one who cares and does the seemingly small jobs all the time.
Yeah.
All right. So now you're transitioning, are acquiring a building, and you're going to have these big ideas, right? It's a fun part. It's like the honeymoon phase of like, we get to do everything we always dreamed of doing. You know, how do you temper, obviously, the grand ideas that you want to do with what you can actually be successful today and what you can actually afford?
Yeah. That's a loaded question. Sitting down, budgeting, making sure. I like taking risks, but calculated risks. We wanted to do a little bit more with our first loan, and we decided to scale things back a little bit, buy the building and just do a few things at a time, make sure the cash flow's there, make sure we're not going to our business savings or anything like that. We have a big rainy day fund just in case, God forbid, there's another lockdown COVID situation. We got to eat into that again, but just calculated risks and just sit down, and again, having a good business partner where we can really sit down and put our heads together and discuss it and talk back and forth and come up with a good plan, that definitely helps.
Yeah. You got to have a yes guy and a no guy. Just a perfect.
And a yin and a yang. Just chill, bud. Anyway.
Yeah. Well,
You're right.
I want that no, because I'm going to be motivated to figure out how do we make it a yes. And that part is, I think if you're an entrepreneur, or if you, cool thing about owning your own business, if you can dream it and you have the work ethic, there's the only thing standing in your way is your ambition and your work and your desire to go get it. And there's all these great toys out there, and there's all these gym MVs. And it would be sweet if I had that. Like, okay,
I have the worst. I want everything. And John, think about that again. I'm like, you're right. Let's hold off on some of it.
But there's like that hope. Okay, I'm grinding it out. I'm doing 40 to 60 hours of PT a week, and I'm growing this business, and I'm hiring staff, and I'm training them, and going through that crucible of being dependent on them and their commitment and loyalty. And it's all serving a greater like goal of, we're going to have that dream-like facility that I always talked about when I'm at Lifetime, grinding myself to just an absolute pulp and getting to that point of, I'm going to have everything I would ever want in a facility. And there's going to be no question that I can't answer with the equipment and my skill and my knowledge, which is to the blast.
I think another thing too, to get there, like I might've missed before, but having key people, maybe not me and Jeff, but assistant guys along the way, like head coaches, managers that care, are genuine, they can help do those things, and they can give them a good salary position to run it too. We're not there yet, but our staff's kind of getting to that point where we're almost getting forced to get a good head coach and a good manager to take off some of those things for us. So
now, is that going to free you up to do more things that you want to do?
Hopefully, yeah. I'm a little bit more freed up at this time, but just because it's a slower time of year for us, we're a little bit more seasonal. A slow month for us, we're probably about 1,000 sessions a month. Busy summertime, we're 1,500 sessions, and sometimes 18 more, close to 1,800 sessions.
That's a lot of bookings.
It's a lot crazy. The summertime's crazy here. So
yeah, that's great. Now, as you start to move into the next phase of this, and you hire a head coach, maybe a manager, Jeff takes on more of the managerial responsibilities, or you outsource it. Where are you focusing your energy? Because you've gotten past that critical threshold of the business is contingent upon everything that you do. And the only way that thing operates is you making the decision to do it, to now you shared responsibility in critical aspects of the business. Are you just stoked on a particular thing that you really want to sink your teeth into?
Yeah, I've been working on a couple of things. One, internal education and kind of creating systems in place for our staff. That way, when a client comes in, if they bounce around between coaches or a coach leaves and they get a new coach, there's not necessarily a huge drastic change for that client. So a lot of internal systems on the education side that I've been working on. And then I've also been working on creating a software, which I've told you about. It's called TBD, Food Total Body Development for You. I just haven't found a good software that kind of does everything I want, and it's completely customizable. So we're working on that. And that was going really good for a while. And then about a couple months ago, a lot of the coding language changed over the last 3 years. So they had to go a complete update. So we slowed some of the progress down, but just dealing with software people, it's a pain in the butt, but it's getting back on track.
The software, or having a centralized hub for
an endless pit though. It's always something to put into it, and it never works the way you want it to initially, and dealing with these developers that they don't understand strength training. So explaining to them is just such a process too.
You mentioned before, if a person leaves, having a vacuum effect of that coach leaves, because it's personal training and it's personal touch and it's personal relationship. There's a big scary looming thing if a coach has a change of heart or a change of circumstance, that you're going to create a vacuum of dozens of sessions a week. And that's a big source of revenue. And you become dependent on that. And then the fear is like, all right, you have a person who's like, it's close for me, I'll keep coming here. And then I don't have a really good rapport with this new trainer. And there's all these like things you could control of, hey, they have their own training card or their own system, and it's a complete 180 from that. Like, I was told this is the only way to train. Having a certain level of continuity from one person to the next, if someone were to leave, is just preserving that revenue and that infrastructure of your business to survive change and evolution. So as we like looking forward towards the next thing, you get to a bigger facility, you have you have more options to do with stuff in terms of enhancing maybe recovery modalities or different machines, different tools, different spaces, like a bigger locker room, just nice stuff for your members that maybe have been with you. Are you looking to expand your staff or?
Yeah, we want to expand the staff a little bit. And when we finish the basement, we want to, like you said, the recovery side, bigger locker rooms for the members, but then we also want to work on some type of team training, nothing crazy, but more hit that market a little bit, and then have a mixed floor so you can do yoga, mixed martial arts, kickboxing, just whatever those matted floors are.
Okay.
Have that in the basement too. Someone to run classes, be in charge and be like a director of team classes for modified strongman, team training, and yoga and kickboxing, all that kind of stuff.
That's an interesting thing, the contracting out to work with a local high school or a local college.
Yeah.
And the feeling of when you're going to offsite onto their weight room, knowing that it's a fraction of the program you can actually run if they were just doing your facility, but knowing the logistical bottlenecks that you have from, we don't have a certain amount of racks and we can only accommodate certain people at a certain period of time because we're just slammed. Like everyone's going to the bookends of the day. Like they're all before or after school or before or after work. And if you're going to bring a team of 12 to 15 guys in there and basketball players, if that's the team you're working with, they're big people. And you smack that with 10 sessions going on with private training clients. It's a big disruption to
we tried to stay away from bringing the teams in. We'll do small groups in semi-private sessions, 2, 3, maybe 4 kids in it with one coach, but we don't go any bigger than that up on the main floor.
Yeah. And it's also too, the downside to knowing the potential for certain machines or tools, but having a team of more than 5 guys and only having one leg curl or a kneeling leg curl, it's just going to create just some sort of logic.
Bottleneck. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
So as you're looking through that now, are you doubling up on pieces? Or are you?
We had to double up on a lying leg curl. We got a standing leg curl. So we have a standing and a kneeling, 2 lying leg curls, 2 seated rows, 2 pull downs. And then we got 4 full racks and 4 half racks across from each other. So we just had the option to roll benches in, a lot more squat racks. And then the other thing too is just trying to get together and discuss the busy hours. Like 4 o'clock is super busy for us right after school. Who's doing what today? You're doing this workout, you're doing that workout. Okay, hang on. And then it's going to be a pecking order on who's coming in. Switch your guys to, this workout, or do your Bs before your Cs, or vice versa, or do B2 before you do B1, something like that. We make it work that way.
Yeah.
But there's definitely got to be big communication, because if we hit that bottleneck and kids are sitting around or clients are sitting around, we try to figure something else out for them to do.
Yeah. Now this is something I'm interested in. Did you go plate loaded or a stack with some of these machines?
We have prime plate loaded equipment. We actually have 3 leg curls. I forgot about the prime plate loaded, but everything else is Atlantis stack, weight stack for the most part.
Because when you have multiple machines and it's plate loaded, you run out of plates real quick.
You run out of plates, and changing them just takes a little bit more time too.
And then there's no good storage option. Like I'm going to put a weight tree in the middle of this thing.
Yeah.
No one's putting the 45s, 25s, and 10s back. If you use 35s, you're a psycho. They're there.
Yeah, we don't have 35.
No, it's I always love seeing 35s. It's one of my favorite things in the world. We need 35s, right? Some distributor or rep was like, yeah, you're going to need a full.
We could sell something else.
I could just do a 25 and a 10. But with that being said, is now, man, you're talking about more money, more problems, more equipment, more problems.
Yeah.
You double or triple the amount of plate loaded machines that you have. Now you're going to double and triple the amount of plates you have. Especially something like a leg press, which is going to take maybe 4 or 5 plates on each side to actually get somewhere. And if you have 3 leg presses and they're all plate loaded, which you're probably going to have to do plate loaded leg presses, just weight stacks are never enough. That's a big thing that you're like, holy crap, we just took on all the plates off the racks and we need those plates on the racks. This is a mess. It's just a lot of stuff you're not anticipating. And then you get exposed for it. Damn, man, I got to call someone to get more plates in here. And then we got to figure out where to store it.
Yeah, we have the nice S&Ccoach training plates for all our free weight area, and then we just have the Perform Better plates for all the plate loaded equipment.
Yeah, which were great. They got the handle and the circle there, you can pull it off.
Durable, you can drop. Some people drop them a little bit, stuff like that.
Now, my last question here is a training question. You have, let's just say 2 rows. Have you specifically set up contrast training with those 2 rows where you're doing a heavy and light on one simultaneously, so you don't have to change plate at all or change weight at all on that for you personally?
Have I ever done that?
Yeah. Now that you got two of them.
No, because I haven't done a power phase or contrast phase since I got the equipment within the last year.
Are you eyeing that? Is that going to influence your pro?
So it's funny you said that. I'm doing an absolute strength phase right now. My next phase, I'm probably going to try to do 2 power phases this year. My next phase, then my last phase of 2025. So I want to get a little more athletic again.
Yeah. And you got to set up those machines. You got them.
But I might have to throw that one in there, Tim. I appreciate that.
Take advantage of the amenities and just say, hey, those 2 rows over there.
A little contrast session. Yeah.
Don't touch it. Like you're on this one. Like I'm on both.
11 a.m. No one's touching it.
Yeah. It's mine. Oh man, John, this has been awesome. Thank you so much. I just appreciate the time, man. This is cool and a ton of great insight. If you're thinking about opening a facility, man, there's probably not a better one out there. Go check out Spear. It's beautiful. It's awesome. The vaulted ceilings, the turf, the racks, the equipment. I'm like you. If we see something, man, like I need to get it and figure out how to get it.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, Tim. Really appreciate the time.
Absolutely, John. Have an amazing day, and we'll talk soon.
Yep, sounds good. Take care, bud.